Hello Commanders and YouTube, LuckyMeS205 over here, and this time we're gonna review, while this video is recorded, the only meta submarine in the Azur lane, and that is U-556 meta. Now there's also a good reason why she exists, and if you are familiar with the Azur lane lore, and his story this far. Bismarck was originally corrupted by the Sirens, and Sirens gifted Bismarck something called Black Cube. Now Sirens used Black Cube to try to transform Bismarck into metamorphosis process, but Bismarck managed to stop the process by self-destructing while fighting against the Royal Navy fleet. While she was sinking, U-556 was getting closer to location thanks to these strange signals he received. And 556 managed to save Bismarck, but because the corruption she was inflicted, and 556 was basically touching too close proximity of the corruption. 556 was also affected, but it was nothing severe until Confluence of Nothingness. They went to the Mirror Sea. Something triggered there this fragmented, shall we say, something like external fragments from the meta aura, shall we say? Shall I say? I don't have correct words for the moment, but anyway, that fragmentation of the metamorphosis that Bismarck unintentionally inflicted U-556. U-556 then went to the metamorphosis, which then caused her transform like this we have right over here. And she did eventually return back to normal thanks to Vestal meta in that event. But she has been recently quiet after that. Although she is fine, what I am hoping she is fine. But that was a briefing. In a nutshell, in my best way as possible to explain how we got 556 meta. Now, let's go to the stats, shall we? If you something like ult her or do not ult her, let's go with that. If you do not ult her, go with the her basic stats. Her meta basic stats are in level 125, 1731 HP. Because she's a submarine, she's a very fragile. The HP keeps her somewhat alive, but it's not that impressive as long as you have oxygen. Oxygen keeps her underwater, away from the enemy fire. And the more you have oxygen, the longer your submarine stays alive. Her oxygen is 208 points. And my latest research was indicating that, let's just go with the 200 points, saying like she is staying underwater 20 seconds. But because there is 8, that is 20.8 seconds. Closely 21 seconds. It's not bad. It requires you to be more tactically careful where you want to use submarines and when to use them. She's a meta ship, so she is surprisingly expensive. That I want to point out about this 556 meta version, because some goddamn reason meta ships are somewhat expensive to run in main campaign. So she has 8 oil cost. As for the torpedo, 576. It's not bad. She can go alongside with the toe-to-toe with the other submarines and perhaps some couple of destroyers. Submarines are underwater destroyers in if you want to compare them. Now, as for the submarine range, it's very simple design, and I have to admit it's not bad. You can use this almost at the fullest. So I highly recommend that you try to upgrade the hunting range to the maximum to utilize this form very well. Now, as for her gears, her torpedo efficiency is 130%. In both slots, she has 2 torpedoes per slot. She gets destroy secondary gun, 85%. It's something like a decoration, it's nothing impressive. And augment module is possibility, and she doesn't have augment module yet while this video is recorded. In this, I gave her dagger, increase in hit and evasion, and increase this torpedo crit rate by 10%, which is very helpful. Now, let's go with this. And meta ships doesn't have skins. And this is her original look. Her face expressions doesn't change if you remove the background, but if you had it, I don't know why it's the thing, but yeah. Let's go with the skills, shall we? First off is offensive. Beyond the Lost Whales. Increases this boat's torpedo crit rate by 10% and increases her damage dealt against light armor enemies by 10%. So far so good. When this boat enters the battle, increases this boat damage dealt by 15%, but increase her damage taken by 10%. This effect lasts until the boat leaves the battle. Well, this is a kind of downgrade, but I do understand why. Increasing this boat damage dealt by 15%. Damage dealt, it's fine. But increase her damage taken by 10%. Perhaps as a counterbalance for the metamorphosis that causes. Anyway, let's go with the next one is support skill. Free Spirit Parzival. Increases this boat active submarine range by 1 when the battle starts. If there are any other submarines in your fleet, increases this boat's torpedo by 12%. When this boat resurfaces, fires level 10 torpedo barrage. And this boat recovers 500 HP. Now this is very good. It actually increases her submarine range by 1 if you are lacking 1 point out of 5. If you have 4 points, this actively gives 1, giving your full range of submarine range, which is very helpful. And recovering her, making her more resilient to be sunk. And 500 points? I'm not good at math, but it almost seems like 1 out of 4 of her HP returned. I don't know about you, but if you have more calculating math calculator head than mine, but that sounds like 1 out of 4 HP return, which is very helpful. Well, perhaps less than 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5. Now next one is also offensive skill, Grail of Kept Promises. While this boat is on the battlefield, when one of your ships takes damage, 40% chance to fire level 10 special torpedo barrage. 1 second cooldown between activations. If this barrage activates while this boat has 20% or more max HP remaining, this boat loses 20 HP. Well, it's fine. There are many ships. If there, well, let's just say, enemies fires a lot of bullets. Well, shells, and one of those shells hit a couple of your ships. With this 40% chance, she will fire the barrage. Well, not occasionally. There's a 1 second cooldown. It would be super busted if it would be super busted if she fires every time when your ally takes a hit, even with a 40% chance. So perhaps it's a good thing there's a 1 second cooldown between activations. If this barrage activates while this boat has 20% of max HP. Excuse me. I don't know why she loses 20 HP points. Perhaps related to the metamorphosis, the transformation cost. But if this boat has certificate of sponsorship equipped, or Bismarck is present in the fleet, increase this boat evasion by 15% and removes the HP loss effect when the special barrage activates. So either you want to have either one of them, or maybe both. And next one is All-Out Assault, fire special barrage immediately after entering battle and in Operation Siren. Fire special barrage immediately after entering the battle when fighting human of Siren fleet or boss fleets. Increase this ship's damage dealt by 6%. Now let's check the barrage in the research. Tier 3, Flickering Light. Very hefty torpedo barrage. I think those hit very hard if I remember correctly. But it's not bad. It's not bad shape. That is really good shape. 6, 2. So yeah. 8 torpedoes. Not bad, not bad. Very good looking barrage. Very good looking barrage. Of course, if you want to upgrade 556, you need to collect hefty amount of torpedo upgrades. Some reasons, small amount of firepower, but also reloads. And her performance improves very decently once you fully upgrade her. And if you want to actually fully upgrade her skills, you must take her to battles, especially to Operation Siren as well, to actually upgrade her skills faster. Now, in this build, in this review, I gave her G7E acoustic homing submarine and 95 Type 95 submarine torpedoes from the Sakura Empire, and of course prototype twin 130mm model destroyer gun from the Dark Empire. I gave her Type 93 ultra rare pure oxygen torpedo, increasing her torpedo 100 points and also reload by 10. If I want to keep her longer underwater, I gave her improved snorkel, giving her oxygen 85 points and hit. Well, I actually went beyond this upgrade, so it gave her hit possibility by 10 points. And with this, she has by oxygen closely 29 seconds. Well, above 29 seconds. Well, what am I saying? Just 29 seconds. Closely to 30 seconds, which is not bad. And I also gave her 1 level upgrade to her torpedoes, because if you do, damage modifier 1 happens, which is very helpful, increasing her damage some level. I'm not sure the details yet, but thanks to these upgrades, her total power is 4010, which seems to be kinda rare some submarine cases. But with this, I'm using her in the Operation Siren that also contains 110 and original 556. And with this formation, I also have Topi Toffee submarine. Okay, I forgot her name. With the oxygen and also Sentinel of the Sea and Silent Hunter. These should give her some improvements to survive on the Operation Siren. Could you please hide? Thank you. And with this, I will gonna give my final thoughts about 556 meta. See you in the voice over section. Hello, voiceover lucky me over here, and meta 556. I have to say, although I was struggling a little bit at the start, but after taking a little bit of time off, I think I managed to fully recover my thoughts. And now, let's go back to 556. So, I think I made a little whoopsie daisy, a slight mistake, and is not actually reviewing the character design at the start of the review. So I'm gonna drop a just screenshot right here about the full design of 556, and personally 556 meta version is something I'm wiping way more compared to her OG design. Now, if you actually compare 556 and 556 meta, you can see there is style differences. So much so that I prefer meta style way more, other than the her original design. That's my personal opinion. Also, meta 556 is in quote unquote mature question mark. Now, also I have to point out about the art design 556 meta has. Yes, if you look every other meta ships and compare to the original, they go towards something like a darker color. But still, 556 meta has a lot more red and black and more clothing, should I say. And with this, I prefer meta version of 556. Also, she is packing way more in her skills than compared to her only skill the original has, Light of a Note, while the meta version has 3 skills, 2 is offensives, and 1 is, let me check myself again, support skill. And I'm actually fine with the how 556 meta actually works. Something like increase this boat's torpedo crit rate by 10% and increase her damage dealt against light armor enemies by 10%, combined with the thought that destroyers and light cruisers are both light armor enemies and they are not separated by class. If you have noticed, some submarines tend to carry the idea of destroyers and light cruisers and not combining them with something simple like light armor enemies. That's one way to put it. Also, when this boat enters the battle, increase this boat damage dealt by 15%. It's also fine, but increases her damage taken by 10%. It's a sad thing, making her easy to kill. But if you have something like a Grail of Kept Promises says, where is this? I'm reading in quote, this boat loses 20 HP if this boat has certificate of sponsorship equipped or Bismarck is present in the fleet. Increases both evasion by 15% and removes the HP loss effect when the special barrage activates. So this improves 556 meta survivability, which is I actually like. Also, free Spirited Parzival increase both active submarine range by 1, which is a really delicious idea if you want to have fully maximum range on your submarine, which I personally highly recommend if you can actually build that way. This is like working like a perfect flagship to the submarine fleet. And when the battle starts, if there are any other submarines in your fleet, increases this boat's torpedo by 12%. Which is also, it's something like replacing Wolfpack. But the sad thing is, she cannot do that thing like the original 556 does. Like working alongside with the other Arable submarines. like sharing the wolf pack, which is rather unfortunate. But if you have Operation Siren, like over here in the background footage, when called in as submarine support in Operation Siren, action point consumption is decreased by 12%. Stacks additively with other AP cost reduction skills. So this is someone you really want to have with your submarine fleet when you are playing Operation Siren. But unfortunately, while this video is recorded, she is only available in Confluence of Nothingness event. And limited construction or on the event shop, costing 8,000 Confluence fragments. It's gonna be a while she's gonna be accessible. But this is someone I highly recommend to have in Operation Siren, because in all-out assault, Operation Siren fires special parades immediately after entering the battle. When fighting humanoid Siren fleets or boss fleets, increases this ship damage dealt by 6%. if you have slightly brain, good amount of brain. Let me just check real quick over here. Where is the over there? And here is the curl meta. Where is the enemy intel research saying the follows: launches an FL-282, revealing all submerged enemies and decreasing their evasion by 10% for 5 seconds. Additionally, increases your submarines and aviation submarines damage dealt by 20%, and your vanguard's anti-submarine weaponry by 10%. ASW. So let's focus on increases your submarine's damage dealt by 20%, and we start cooking a little bit with the 556 meta. Crit rate 10%, increase the damage dealt against light armor enemies by 10%. That's extra damage. And where is the rest of the thing? Hold up. Fire special parades immediately after entering battle when fighting human Siren fleets or boss fleets. Increase ships damage dealt by 6%. If you combine all this, you can almost see a perfect combination in a fleet you want to run. If you have curl meta and fully upgraded it, of course. So she is very useful in Operation Siren and highly recommend having her. It's kind of a shame I didn't notice at all. And of course I recently gave her the ultra rare G7E while I'm recording this. So, and I also gave her the Iron Blood snorkel, giving her more time to stay on the field and underwater, increasing her survivability, excuse me. This is a potential submarine, although she is a meta ship. This is something I highly recommend. Recommending indeed. It's gonna be a while she's accessible to your new commanders or those who missed her. But I'm hoping you will get her in the future. She's gonna be very helpful Parsifal for you, commanders of the Azur lane. But that's all I can actually think of about this moment. If I missed anything, let me know in comments down below. We have now come to the end of this review video about 556 Meta. Thank you so much for watching. My name is LuckyMears205. Please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.